The Paper Mario series has always stuck to its formula. That all changes in Paper Mario Sticker Star, the series' first new installment in over 5 years, which takes the series in a new direction that dials back the traditional RPG elements. Is it a change for the better, or is Mario's RPG outing finding itself in a sticky situation? The game begins with the entire Mushroom Kingdom gathering at the Sticker Fest in anticipation of the Sticker Comet's arrival. As usual, Bowser is up to no good and crashes the party, sending the kingdom into disarray. It's up to Mario to restore order, but he's going to need a little help from his new sticker pal, Kersti. The writing effort is up to par with what we've come to expect out of the series. Humorous dialogue punctuates a simple, lighthearted tale populated by memorable characters. The only downside is that while you're struggling to figure out what to do during some of the game's key junctures, the narrative gets stuck in a holding pattern and loses its focus. Unlike its predecessors, Sticker Star presents you with a world map from the outset, and you're free to choose your path through one of 3 different worlds. Your progression isn't necessarily linear. Multiple exits within each level create branching paths, and you'll need to backtrack frequently to make headway. It's a different approach that works well for the most part, with a greater degree of exploration than before. This new formula suffers from some initial growing pains, however. The first world does a good job of easing you into the game, but the next 2 throw you for a loop, with in-game clues that aren't very clear and some truly abstruse puzzles. If your experience mirrors our own, you'll catch yourself wandering aimlessly in a fruitless search for a solution, relying mostly on trial and error. Once you finally clear this hump, the game finds its legs. Levels get creative and present you with clever puzzles. The Sniff It or Whiff It game show is a notable highlight. Your activities within these levels aren't limited to merely searching for treasures and battling enemies either. Every so often, the simple task of traversing a course turns into a clever minigame, which goes a long way toward keeping the experience fresh. Perhaps the biggest shakeup is the removal of some long-standing RPG elements. Aside from collecting items that permanently increase your health, the game completely axes the notion of leveling up and earning experience in battles. Instead, character progression is all about your stickers, single-use battle items that you collect over the course of the game. The variety of these stickers, along with the ever-changing enemy types, offer plenty of challenge and depth. However, it's far from a perfect system. If you run out of stickers in battle, you're left with no option but to flee. Additionally, in the beginning of the game, your inventory space is severely limited, so you'll have to get picky about what stickers you stock up on. These kinks eventually work themselves out, but it adds to the learning curve that hits hardest in the early goings. Without the traditional RPG mechanics like experience or levels, you might be wondering if the combat loses a bit of its luster. There's no denying the diminished impact of battles, and you might be tempted at times to simply bypass enemy encounters, but doing so robs you of a significant reward: loot. Enemies occasionally drop stickers when you defeat them, and while you can farm stickers in each area, some of the rarer varieties are only found as drops. More important, though, are the coins that enemies leave behind. Currency is king in Sticker Star, simply because money ties into nearly every aspect of the game. Regardless of how momentarily fat your wallet may be, you're frequently forced to break the bank. You can buy all sorts of stuff with money, of course, but it's the spin system that deserves special attention. In battle, you can bring up a slot machine during your turn that essentially lets you burn coins to trigger various bonuses, like an increase in the number of stickers you can deploy. It's particularly useful for those fights that seem insurmountable, and its use is smartly regulated, with the cost for each spin increasing per use in a single fight. there's also specific items hidden throughout the world that you can convert into special stickers. When used in a regular encounter, they simply deal hefty damage. They're most effective when used in boss battles, though. While you can brute force your way through these challenging encounters, there's always an easier course via exploiting a boss's weak points with these special stickers. Puzzling out their individual weaknesses is amusing in itself, and all the more gratifying thanks to the hasty end it brings to these menacing opponents. It might seem like there's less emphasis on the handheld's 3D effect, but Sticker Star is a reminder that games can still benefit from it. Navigating 2D sprites within a 3D environment is reliably frustrating, especially when it comes to depth perception, but the 3D effect remedies this issue. Don't be surprised to find yourself playing with the slider all the way up. The soundtrack is a solid combination of new arrangements and remixes of classic tunes that will bring on the nostalgia. Sticker Star exhibits some growing pains, but the new direction pays off in spite of them. The lack of traditional RPG elements will take time to adjust to, but once you've cleared the hurdle, you're rewarded with a solid game that hones in on its clever puzzles and refined battle system to deliver an experience that's simultaneously comforting and novel.